Good day to you. What will God do when so many circumstances are arranged for destruction? His strategy through all of human history was to gather the godly unto himself. Moses, at the age of 40, the baby in the basket of bulrushes, Moses. He was 40 and he was well taught in all the sciences of Egypt, and he was raised as the son of Potiphar's daughter for statecraft, and he was well versed in all Egyptian warfare. Moses saw yonder was the promise of God, long way from fulfillment. Nearer was his immediate prospect for Egyptian greatness, for which he trained for 40 years. Yonder, far away, in vision form, what he has gathered when he was on his mother's knees, and what his spirit was now troubling him about, yonder, was his mom's training when he was feeding at her breast. Nearer were the riches of Egypt. Yonder was a slave people and drudgery existence. Nearer was the expertise of the Egyptian sciences and politics. Pathway for greatness already laid for Moses. Yonder was the suffering with God's people, though a great promise. Prospects immediately were not very great. Nearer was the pleasures, prospects, power, prosperity of Egypt. How will Moses choose? How will you choose? Yonder was a life of privation and struggle, and powerful people opposing him. Nearer was the opulence and fame of Egyptian monarchy, royal family. We all know how Moses chose. Moses chose to suffer with the people of God. How did he do this? Hebrews 11:24 said he lived as seeing the invisible. That was the secret of his power. So when you hear of wars and rumors of war, and Pakistan and India already having started the first salvos of gunshots, so suddenly, nations learning war very earnestly, seemingly, quite contrary to the UN motto, nations learn war no more, quoted from Isaiah 2:4. A great hope, but man couldn't keep it. After the Second World War, US has been the global policeman, criticized by many. However, there were no world wars, and some kind of peace has been kept between the nations. But now, with US dwindling, removing their influence from the NATO, you can see Europe is leaning towards China, and UK has different kinds of issues. Today in UK, M&S, Mark and Spencer, had a cyber attack and they couldn't connect with their networks. So every day there is some disturbance since the British Prime Minister supported the Ukraine war effort. All I'm saying is it's a time of acceleration of human intolerance. So we know God will have to intervene. Nations are losing their senses. God created every nation with a certain God character and God likeness. We all know Britain had the systems, AR and FR, and civic governance systems, and Ceylon from 1797 to 1948 greatly benefited from these systems. Our nationalists would deny this, but Ceylon becoming Sri Lanka, a modern nation, was due to how much the British did for our nation. But now we are in trouble. All nations are in trouble. It looks insanity how quickly Pakistan and India geared up for war. So in a time like this, we see the yonder. We see God calling his people. Isaiah 50, verse 4, verse 5, God's strategies haven't changed. he is still gathering the godly for his last onslaught. If he can find a footstool, then God can bring his throne to rule over the godly remnant, that part of the holy nation in the nation. That's the contradiction. That's the strategy of God. In the big nation, he finds a holy nation. He finds a royal priesthood. This is his strategy. The mighty one, God, the Lord, has spoken and summoned the earth from the rising of the sun to its setting. So from west to east, east to west, God has summoned earth and given earth notice. I believe the geophysical science of tectonic plates becoming unsteady, unstable, not only in the intertectonic borders as it usually was, where earthquakes would happen between India plate and Pacific plate, tectonic plate I refer to. So Myanmar was always a trouble spot. But in between, cracks or networks of tectonic mobility have been discovered inside the plate. So the India plate is cracking up, the strongest of the tectonic plates. Earth is aging, as scriptures say. Earth is not eternal. So when evolutionists assign long years, billions, all they are doing is remove the creator to give chance billions of years to do the evolution stuff. So people imagine we have billions of years more, which is not the case. All signs point to a young earth, and a young earth now having arrived in old age seemingly, with tectonic plates creaking, volcanoes spewing. This is going on. And then what does God do? He summons the heaven above and the earth to judge his people. How does he do? By gather my godly ones. Psalm 50 verse 5. Gather my godly ones to me, those who have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. With them, through them, by their work, witness, prayers, prophecies, pleadings, intercessions, heavens will declare God's righteousness, for God himself is judge. This is how God will speak, more by interaction, by intervention, because the creation cycles have run their time. God will speak specifically. He can still speak through geophysical science, but he will speak through people he will raise up into prominence for his purpose. But he will also speak through all his saints. The lowly ones, they will be catapulted into places of prayer and intervention. People will take note. So do not allow any opportunity to go by without witness. Every day I get on the road to give a tract to someone, give a booklet to someone, because I keep telling him, Lord Jesus Christ can walk the streets, I also can walk the streets. So the news is dire, but God's solution is clear. In the midst of failures in human systems, political, economic, and there will be mRNA shots now being promoted for child vaccines as well as anti-cancer treatment. Many would not be able to resist this kind of pseudoscientific fake advances within inverted commas, and they will destroy immunity, because according to the globalists, too much population is the problem. Already we are told by Billing and Gating, you know who that is, that only 10% of humans will be needed for the work in the future. 90% will be redundant because of AI. Those are the projections, those are the suggestions of humans who play God. But we know God is God. So when we look at Revelation chapter 9, and there's a description of an army, they look like the humanoids they are developing now. Read again. What kind of army will go to war in that Armageddon? But then we are given a promise that God will call upon me in the day of trouble. I shall rescue you and you will honor me. That's a program for God's people. He who offers a sacrifice of thanksgiving honors me, and to him who orders his conversation the way aright, I shall show the salvation of God. That's how Psalm 50, verse 23 ends. So it's Psalms are divided into 150 chapters. So each chapter, that the 50th, the 100th, and the 150th, has some kind of resume on these lines, how God will come through his godly remnant. Thank you for listening. I'm Dr. Lalith Mendis. If you want any more screen balance talks, my usual subject, please send me a WhatsApp to +94 742 11 5011. If you want this kind of clips, do the same. Please send a WhatsApp to that number. Thank you for listening. Bye, Pastor Woodrow. Bye.